Hi, kids. Welcome to another episode of Bible Stories with your mom. Today, we are starting chapter 16. This is the later Judean ministry, Perean ministry, and journey to Jerusalem. It's not a huge chapter, but I think that we'll break it up into two parts just because. So, let's get started. We'll start with confusion and division. Jesus and his disciples returned to Jerusalem to attend two Jewish religious festivals. He used some symbolism from the festivals to teach that he was Christ and the Son of God. Jesus' teaching created a sharp division between the people and the leaders. Many common people believed in him, but his claims infuriated the Jewish religious leaders and made them even more determined to kill him. When the leaders heard Jesus was in Jerusalem, they tried to find him but couldn't, even though everyone was talking about him. Some believed he was a good man, others thought he was a fraud. No one had the courage to speak openly about him because they were afraid of the leaders. Halfway through the 7-day festival, Jesus began teaching in the temple courts. The people were amazed at his knowledge. He didn't have a formal education, so they asked, "How do you know so much?" Jesus said his teaching was not his own and made the startling claim that he had been trained by God, who had sent him. Jesus said if they truly knew God, they would recognize he was from God, but instead they wanted to kill him because he exposed them as religious hypocrites. This infuriated his audience, who charged that Jesus was deluded and demon possessed. "Who is trying to kill you?" they asked. Jesus replied that they wanted to kill him because he healed on the Sabbath, the seventh day, and that was in violation of the law of Moses. However, the law actually permits acts of mercy on the seventh day. Their problem was they didn't know the law. And for some reason, we have this like picture of Jerusalem in the period of the Second Temple. Maybe we'll be talking about that in a minute. I don't know. There's a picture. That's one of the first pictures, the only picture I've seen, so it must be important. Okay, so he said your problem is that you don't know the law. Jesus' response made some people think that he was truly the Messiah, but they weren't certain. The leaders were unconvinced. They thought about arresting him because he claimed he had been sent by God, yet they were still afraid of the people and confused by his teaching. As Jesus continued teaching in the temple, more and more people became convinced he was the Messiah. When the Pharisees realized how many were siding with Jesus, they sent the temple guards to arrest him. Jesus baffled the guards when he said that he was returning to the one who had sent him. They thought he was either returning to Nazareth or leaving Jerusalem for another country. They didn't arrest him. They didn't arrest him. But we know Jesus is not often literal, he's very metaphorical. Okay, on the last day of the festival, Jesus claimed he was living water. He said, "Anyone who is thirsty and believes in me may come and drink." He promised that the Spirit of God would give that person eternal life. Jesus' claim divided the people. Some thought he was a prophet, others thought he was the Messiah. Some wanted to arrest him because they thought he was from Nazareth, not Bethlehem, and they knew the Messiah would come from Bethlehem. The guards returned to the priests and Pharisees, who wanted to know why they had not arrested Jesus. The guards said, "Well, his teaching is amazing. We've never heard anything like it." The Pharisees mocked them, saying that anyone who believed in Jesus was stupid and didn't know what they were doing. Nicodemus, who had spoken to Jesus previously, cautioned the leaders. Is it just to condemn a person without a fair hearing? Nicodemus's warning fell on deaf ears. The religious leaders sarcastically asked if he was one of Jesus' naive followers from Galilee. That evening, Jesus left Jerusalem and spent the night on the Mount of Olives. Early the next morning, he returned to the temple. While he was teaching, the religious leaders and the Pharisees dragged before him a woman who they claimed was caught in the act of adultery. They told Jesus that the law said to stone her, and then asked, "What do you say? How should she be punished?" Jesus knew that they were trying to trap him. He stooped down and wrote something in the sand with his finger. They kept demanding an answer, so Jesus stood and said, "Let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone." Then he wrote again in the sand. The woman's accusers began walking away, one at a time. Jesus asked the woman, "Where are your accusers? Didn't even one of them condemn you?" "No, Lord," she said. "Neither do I," said Jesus. "You can leave, but don't continue to sin." As he continued speaking to those who had gathered around, Jesus said, "I am the light of the world." The Pharisees attacked immediately. They said Jesus didn't have enough evidence to make that kind of claim. He needed at least one witness. Jesus said he had two, because he was the Son of God. He was his own witness. His Father was his second witness. The Pharisees didn't understand that Jesus meant God was his Father. They wanted to arrest him, but didn't know how to charge him. Jesus had previously angered the Pharisees when he said he had come from heaven. Now he told them he would soon return, and they would not be able to come with him. Jesus warned that they would die in their sins, but they still didn't understand what he meant. He explained, yet they were still confused. Jesus said they would only understand after his death on the cross. Many of the people believed what he had said was true. Jesus commended those who believed and said that they had been set free by believing the truth, while the self righteous religious people remained slaves to sin. The Pharisees, not realizing he was referring to spiritual slavery, exploded in anger. Jesus said that their desire to kill him revealed that they were not children of God, but rather were children of the devil. The Pharisees responded with a racial slur and called Jesus a Samaritan devil. Jesus denied the charge, saying he was not a demon, but came to glorify his Father, and that even Abraham had looked forward to his coming with great joy. They ridiculed him and said, "You aren't yet 50 years old. How can you say you are older than Abraham?" Jesus made a startling claim. "I am telling you the truth. I am God, and I existed before Abraham was born." The Pharisees screamed, "Blasphemy!" and picked up stones to throw at Jesus, but he quickly left the temple before they could assault him. Now, I had picked this as a good place to stop because we're entering a new heading, and I think that this will just be a quick clip for today. And then next time we will finish up chapter 16. So we will see you next time. Bye.